أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يوم تبيض وجوه وتسود وجوه. On the day when some faces will be brightened with joy and others darkened with gloom, to the dark-faced sinner it will be said, did you adopt the way of disbelief after embracing the true faith? How can one become a disbeliever after accepting the truth? He may fall into shirk, he may fall into hypocrisy or biddat, or he may go into the denial of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, or he may go become an apostate. In that case, some faces, Allah says, are going to be blackened and some faces are going to be brightened. And in the day of resurrection, on the day of resurrection, we will not be able to control any of our own actions. For whatever we have earned in dunya, it is going to become a physical state in Akhirah. So some faces are going to be blackened and some faces are going to be white. And for those who have turned black, Allah says, then taste the punishment for having adopted the way of disbelief. And it is going to be asked, how could you fall back on disbelief once the clear revelations had come to you? Once you've read the Quran, once you've understood the Quran, how can you go back on it? As for the bright-faced ones, they will be in Allah's mercy. Fafi rahmah. And what is Rahmah? Like Allah Ta'ala has declared Jannah as is Rahmah. And Allah says they are going to abide therein forever. Tilka ayatullahi natluha alayka bilhaq wa mallahu yuridu zulman lil alameen. These are the revelations of Allah. We recite them to you in truth. Allah does not intend to do injustice to the worlds. وَلِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَإِلَى اللَّهِ تُرْجَعُ الْأُمُورِ. All that is in the heavens and the earth belongs to Allah, and to Allah all matters are going to return for decision. كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ تَأْمَرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَتَنْحَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ وَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ. You are the best nation. Look at the honor Allah is giving it to the Muslims. But very sorry to say that today we Muslims, are we portraying a sign to be addressed as the best nation as we are in the Quran? Allah says, you are the best nation. Just like the Bani Israels, they were called the best nation of their time because they were the Muslims of their time. Now it's our turn to prove that are we really the best? Are our actions in accordance of the best nation? Allah says, why were we raised? Which have been raised for the guidance of mankind. So are we really proving ourselves to be a guidance to others, or are we enjoining evil with others? For you, what do? You enjoin good, forbid evil, and you believe in Allah. Had the people of the book believed, it would surely have been better for them. What would they have believed that would have become better for them? Is that if they would have believed in Prophet Muhammad ﷺ as the last prophet, that would have been better for them. Among them some are believers, but most of them are transgressors. It's not that all of them have denied Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. No, there are good from amongst them who have accepted. Therefore Allah says, not all, but some have accepted. Anyhow, they can do no harm to you except a trifling annoyance. For the Jews of Medina, Allah said that they cannot eventually harm you. Why? Because eventually the Jews were either they were exiled, either they were killed, or they had to pay jizya. If they do fight against you, they will turn their backs and run, getting no help from anywhere. Disgrace will be branded on them wherever they are found, except when they get refuge under the favor of Allah or the patronage of other people. Allah says, Duribat alayhum dhillatu aynama suqifu illa bihabli min Allahi wa habli min an-nasi wa ba'u bi ghadabin min Allah wa duribat alayhimul maskana zalika bi annahum kanu yakfaruna bi ayati Allahi wa yaqtuluna al-anbiya'a bighayri haqq. So from the people of the book, Allah says, who has returned with his wrath? That is referred to the Jews. And why did they do so? Because of denying in Allah's revelations and also denying and then going ahead and killing in the prophets. And then Allah says that either they take refuge under Allah, that they may get some way out, or if they take patronage with the other people. Then Allah says that they killed the Anbiya unjustly, and Allah says, and because they disobeyed and transgressed the limits. Yet they are not all alike. You see the justice with Allah, that if anybody has done good, he will never go unnoticed. Whether there are few in number, they will still come on the record. So Allah says, yet they are all not alike. There are some among the people of the book who are upright, who recite the revelations of Allah all night long and then prostrate before Him. That means they go into tahajjud. Yatluna ayatillahi ana al-layli wa hum yasjudun. And above the others, the most prominent names from amongst the Jews who then reverted to Islam and then they accepted Prophet Muhammad ﷺ as the last prophet and Quran to be the last book was Abdullah bin Salam, Asad bin Ubaid, Thalaba bin Saya and Usaid bin Saya. These were the most prominent names from amongst them during the times of Medina. They believe in Allah and the last day, they enjoin good and forbid evil and rush in emulating each other in good deeds because they are always in search of opportunities. وَيُسَارِعُونَ فِي الْخَيْرَاتِ. They are in search of opportunities. وَأُولَٰئِكَ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. And Allah says these are the righteous people. وَمَا يَفْعَلُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَلَنْ يُكَفِّرُوهُ. Whatever good they do, its reward will not be denied to them. Wallahu alimun bil muttaqeen. Allah knows the righteous. Surely for those who are unbelievers, neither their wealth nor their children shall in the least protect them from the wrath of Allah. They will be the inmates of hellfire and live therein forever. When they spend in this life, and this spending is in the hypocritical form, may be compared to a freezing wind which strikes and destroys the tillage of people who have wronged themselves. And why have they wronged themselves? This is because of their lack of faith, that Allah says for those who are going to spend, but spend in a hypocritic way, meaning just to show others, then this is just like a freezing wind comes and freezes the tillage. And so their rewards are going to go void. They will not be accounted for. Allah is not unjust to them. Why? Because they adopted the hypocritical way themselves. It is they who have done injustice to their own souls. O believers, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu la tattakhidhu bitwanatan min dunikum la ya'lunakum khabala. Now Allah Ta'ala talks here about friendship. O believers, do not make intimate friendships. Intimate friendships meaning don't go into real secrets. Don't make secrets with who? With any but your own people. But your own people meaning the Ahle Mu'min. The unbelievers will not miss any opportunity to corrupt you. Corrupt you meaning to confuse you, to oppose you, to harm you. They desire nothing but your destruction. Their malice has become evident from what they say. Now, in the background we see that Aus and Khazraj, they had maintained ties with the Jews also. And within the Jews of course did not have good intentions for Aus and Khazraj. But Aus and Khazraj, after turning to Islam, of course they had mended their characters. So for them, having settlements with them, making deals with them was on a surface level, was on this level in the sense that they said, if you do good, we do good to you. But in return, the Jews were saying that we'll do good to you, but they never intended to do so. So here Allah is warning the Muslims, especially the Aus and Khazraj, and then of course through them Allah is warning everybody that don't go into secrecy with non-Muslims. You want to make friends, then make friends with your own Muslims. Their malice has become evident from what they say. So, and what they conceal in their hearts is far worse. You don't know what they are concealing within their hearts. They may be saying that they agree with you, but you don't know what they keep in their hearts for you. We have made our revelations plain to you. Now, if somebody says, well, I don't think that there's anything wrong in having a secret friendship with non-believers, well, that's up to you to make up your mind. But Allah says that I have made my revelations very clear to you. They are not going to be what you think at times. If you want to comprehend, Allah says, in kuntum taqilun, use your intellect to understand what Allah is referring to. Whereas you love them, they do not love you, even though you believe in their holy books. Can you see there's no ambiguity here. So he says, even if you believe in their books, they don't believe in your book. They don't believe in your last prophet. When they meet you, they say, we also believe in your prophet and the Quran. But when they are alone, they bite their fingertips in rage against you. Say to them, may you perish in your rage. Surely Allah knows all the secrets of the heart. When you are blessed with good fortune, they grieve. And who is a true friend? A true friend is that he will talk good about you even when you are not present. In your absence, he is going to defend you. He is going to protect you. Allah says, when you are blessed with good fortune, they grieve. They don't like it. But if some misfortune overtakes you, they rejoice. And what is this? This is envy. This is to be happy when someone is in a loss. If you are patient and guard yourself against evil, their schemes will not harm you in any way. How do you guard against yourself? وَتَتَّقُوا, that you fear Allah, and then you keep in mind what Allah has instructed you. Don't go into secrets with them then. You have to maintain ties with you for natural reasons, that's fine. So Allah says, if you will be patient and then you guard yourself, that means you adopt taqwa, then they cannot harm you in any way. Surely Allah encompasses all their actions. O Muhammad Sallallahu, remember that morning when you left your household at an early hour to assign the believers to their battlefields. Now, battle points refers here to Ghazwa Ahad, and as we all know that Ghazwa Ahad took place in the 3rd Hijri. The Battle of Badr was fought in the 2nd Hijri, and of course the Mushrikeen were defeated, and this was a great victory for the Muslims. Now, as a result, the Mushrikeen wanted to take their revenge. So then Ghazwa Ahad took place in the 3rd Hijri. This here in this ayat, Allah is referring to the time when in the morning, and that was the sunnah of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu, every time he would set out for a journey or a battle, he would set out in the early hours of the morning. And in this, it is specially referred to that you left your family. So for some causes, in the name of Allah, we have to make sacrifices. We can sit and very well enjoy ourselves with our families, but for a bigger cause, we have to make these little compromises and sacrifices. So Allah says, you left and then you were appointing the Sahabas as to who is going to lead which post and what is going to be the duty of each soldier. So Allah says, Allah hears and knows everything related to the fact that when this was being decided as to where should they go and fight this battle. Some of the Sahabas who could not participate in the Battle of Badr suggested that this battle should be fought outside Medina so that they could participate also and leave their homes and go in the name of Allah. Whereas Nabi Sallallahu himself and Abdullah bin Ubay, who was the leader of the hypocrites, had suggested that this battle should be fought within Medina. But you will see that although being the leader and the Nabi, Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu would always welcome the suggestion from his Sahabas. So finally it was decided that this battle will be fought outside Medina. The Muslims in this battle were about 1,000 and the non-Muslims were about 3,000. So Allah says, Wallahu Samiyun Alim, Allah knows who was suggesting what. Remember when 2 of your companies became faint-hearted and Allah protected them through strengthening their hearts. And who were these 2 parties or companies? This was Bani Harisa of Aus and this was Bani Salama of Khazraj. And what happened was that when they left Medina, Abdullah bin Ubay was aware that his suggestion was not adopted. So he became offended and 300 people he was able to convince, and they all left the Muslims while during this journey and they headed back towards Medina. Now when Abdullah bin Ubay made this decision, of course they were true Muslims in that force who lost their hopes that if 300 people are going to leave us, we will be left with only 700 people to fight 3,000 people, and so they started getting confused. Allah says because of their iman, Allah helped them, and so they remained steadfast and they did not join the hypocrites and went back to Medina. So Allah says, in Allah should the believers put their trust. فَلْيَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. And this was the reason, this was the outcome of the victory of Badr. Why? Because the Sahabas put their trust in Allah that whether we are small in number, we can win the wars. So here we see that there are a few lessons that Allah is going to teach us. Let's finish these few ayahs and inshallah we'll come back to the lessons. وَلَقَدْ نَصَرَكُمُ اللَّهُ بِبَدْرٍ وَأَنْتُمْ أَذِلَّةٌ فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. Allah helped you at the battle of Badr when you were helpless. Therefore, have fear of Allah. Perhaps you may become thankful. And why become thankful is number one, that there is no pride and arrogance here that you won the war. In battle of Badr, Allah helped you with the angels. So one needs to remember to learn as a lesson that victory only and only comes from Allah. It does not come from hardware. Secondly, the numerical strength does not mean anything if Allah does not will you to succeed. So Allah says, if I helped you in Badr, how is it that I am not going to help you in Ahad? What you need to remember is that you have to put your trust in Allah with what you have in hand, as per materialistic support and as per numerical support. You have to put your trust in Allah, but at the same time you need to do your best. Now if you're going to get discouraged that 300 people have left us and now there is nothing for us to do and probably we are going to lose this war, so what's the use of going ahead and fighting against them? Let's all of us go back. Then there is no point of Allah's madad coming, because you've already made up your minds to go back. But when we make a decision to go forward with whatever resources we have in hand, then the madad of Allah comes, and then the help says, yes, now you have an incentive in the sense that you yourself are going to try your best. So then Allah is also going to help you. And then of course again Allah reminds, fattakullaha. Fear Allah. Why? Because it's not because they are a lot in number and they have a lot of weapons that they will win you. If you have the trust in Allah, then Allah is going to turn the tables in your favor. So then, if you remember, they had only 2 horses. They only had 70 camels. They were very few in number in the battle of Badr. So Allah says that put your trust in Allah and then Allah is going to help you. Perhaps you may become thankful, and then there is no pride and then there is no arrogance that it was because of us that we won the battle. There is a historian by the name of Tom, and he wrote the book The Life of Muhammad, and this was a 20th century historian. And according to him, he says that his opponents had courage and bravery, but it was he who broke new ground in the management of warfare. The Meccan disbelievers fought recklessly and haphazardly, while he used great foresightedness. This he is relating to Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He had strict discipline and efficient organization as additional assets. And in here we will see, Istakulu lil mu'mina alli yakfiyakum an yamuddakum rabbukum bi salasati alafin min al malaikati munzalin. Remember when you said to the believers, is it not enough that Allah should send down 3,000 angels to help you? And why 3,000 angels to help them? Because if Allah can turn an entire nation upside down, this was in the case of the perished nations, how is it that He cannot help you with as many angels as He wishes? Bala in tasbiru wa tattaku wa ya'tukum min furihim haza yumditkum rabbukum bi khamsatin alafin min al malaikati musawwimin. Of course, if you remain patient and on your guard, Allah will send to you 8, not 3,000, but 5,000 specially marked angels in case of a sudden attack from the enemy, for as long as you do your best. Allah has told you this as good news, and that your hearts may be at ease thereby. Victory only comes from Allah, the mighty, the wise. Now here what Allah is trying to refer is that Allah is going to set the angels. Why is He saying that I am going to help you with 3,000 and even 5,000? Is because shaitans can see the angels, and when Allah is going to send the angels, the shaitans are going to dread it, and out of their fear they are going to whisper and prompt into the mushrikeen's hearts and minds that okay, now you are at a loss, now you cannot win this. Why? Because there are angels there to help the believers, and this is going to create a chaos within the mushrikeens to flee away. So Allah says that so that He might cut off a flank of the unbelievers or put them to flight, making them withdraw with utter disappointment. And then what will happen? That they are going to run away. O Prophet ﷺ, you have no authority to decide the affair. It is up to Allah whether He pardons or punishes them since they are wrong to us. لَيْسَ لَكَ مِنَ الْأَمْرِ شَيْءٌ أَوْ يَتُوبَ عَلَيْهِمْ أَوْ يُعَذِّبَهُمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ ظَالِمُونَ. What does this refer to here? That Allah is telling Nabi ﷺ that you have no authority to decide the affair, and it is only up to Allah whether He wants to punish someone or pardon. It so happened that in the Battle of Badr, when Nabi ﷺ appointed the Sahabas their positions, Abdullah bin Zubair was appointed as the leader of 50 archers who were told to stand on the top of the mountain. And Nabi ﷺ had very strictly instructed them that even if you see that we are being killed or we are in a worse scenario, you are not going to leave your arches and come down. You are going to remain there. These were about 50 people, and it so happened that a point came when the Muslims were fighting, and this fight turned into a seemingly victory for the Muslims, and the mushrikeen were running away. At that point, the Muslims that were down on the ground, they started looting the booty which was left by the non-believers. Seeing this, out of the 50, about 38 people decided to run down and go and pick up the booty. In this chaos, when they left their arches, they came down to take into the booty. Khalid bin Walid comes from behind the mountain and he re-attacks the Muslim while they were all off guard. And in this state of off guard, there was a chaos within the Muslims, and during this, Nabi ﷺ gets hurt. And it is said that his premolar was lost. And at this point, Nabi ﷺ said, how shall such people prosper? People who do this to their Prophet ﷺ, although their Prophet is calling them towards Allah. And at this point, we see that he lost his premolar, and this is what he said for the Sahabas. And very instantly, this ayat clearly says to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ that you can still not pass a judgment against the Sahabas. It is for Allah to decide whether Allah wants to punish them or Allah wants to forgive them. So here we see why? Because Allah says, to Allah belongs all that is in the heavens and in the earth. He pardons whom He pleases and punishes whom He pleases. Meaning this act of forgiveness or punishment only and only lies in the hands of Allah. It does not even lie in the hands of the prophets. Allah is forgiving, merciful. We'll take a short break here.